Welcome to another Joe's Orientation video. With the release of Havok and Viridian, we are attempting to take advantage of the new projects. Today I'll be going over the new Joe Signature projects. These are nice as it allows Joe Saloon to automatically pay out for scanning anomalies. We are then saving the signatures in our shared folders with the hopes that members looking for specific content can find it easier. So in this video I will show you how to use these projects and what to do with any scanned down signatures you find that you're not going to clear yourself. All right, so here we are. We're just in the system. I went ahead and previously scanned down the system and stuff like that, just to save a little bit of time. But with that, when you're going to go ahead and start doing these, the first thing I wanted to point out is in our message of the day, we have two shared folders. We have Day Tripping and Wormhole Daily. With that, I'd recommend going ahead and getting those folders because that's where we're going to be storing our stuff. So here we go. We have four sites that I scanned down. We have a combat site, two relic sites, and a wormhole. Now, if you are going out and doing something, I'm doing this for a video, so I don't intend on doing any of these, but let's say I'm going to go out and hit those relic sites. I don't want you to save those relic sites into the folders. There's no point in saving a signature that's not going to be there. But anyway, so going ahead and saving one, we're just going to go ahead and right click on that. We're going to save the location. Now, with these, when we're dealing stuff outside of a wormhole, or dealing with non-wormhole things, the label that it comes up with is actually perfectly fine. So it comes up with the name of the site and the signature. The only thing we're going to add is we're going to add the date. And it's like, so today is January 15th, and then with the date, we use Eve time in game. So we're going to use 2054 is the current time, and if you are curious about where that time is, it's right down here in this calendar. This is the Eve time, so just use that number. This way we're all in one area. Then we have this folder down here, and it's just like, and so we have the Day Tripping, and then I have a whole bunch of subfolders in the Day Tripping. Since we're saving in relic site, we're going to go relic and data site. We're going to set it for in 2 days is when we want it to expire. I'm going to be completely honest. This is in high sec. These relic sites aren't going to last probably for 2 hours, but seeing as how we're paying for it, we might as well, save these. Ultimately, a lot of these, the reason why we're doing the Joe signature is more for wormholes than actual known space systems. But we'll go ahead and save it. And so there we go. We have it saved. And if you look in the relic site, there's our system. And that's great. And so let's go ahead and save the rest of these. And then again, it's just like that name is perfectly fine. We have a new signature. We could go scan that down if we wanted to, but we're not going to. And so the reason for putting the date down here is because eventually, like people like me and stuff like that, we're going to be going through these and we're going to go ahead and cull them. On a regular basis, mainly because it does expire in 2 days. Like I said, these relic sites are probably not going to last for 2 hours, so we're not going to worry about it. But you never know. Somebody within the next 2 hours in the corp might go out here and do these. And now within this one's a combat site, so we're going to change it from relic data to combat sites, and then submit. And that's how you do non-wormhole based things. Well, actually, we can go ahead non-wormhole based things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of go over a wormhole here. So I'm going to go ahead and warp to the wormhole. Unlike the combat sites, relic sites, gas sites, and all that stuff like that, wormholes, it just says wormhole. But we want to have a little bit more information about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and warp over. And while it's doing that, let's go. And so with wormholes, there's a lot more information we want to get. Obviously, we don't want to save any end-of-life wormholes because that's kind of pointless. So we kind of want to make sure that this wormhole is a good wormhole to use. So first what we do is we get there and we just go ahead and show info on it. And so right here, this is kind of telling us all the information we need to know. The wormhole is beginning to decay, won't last another day. This is a good wormhole to save. That means we have about at least or at the most 12 hours. So that's more than enough. The wormhole is not yet has stability disrupted by ships. That's great. It means a whole lot of people haven't been going through this wormhole. And then larger ships can pass through the wormhole. And then the important part is this wormhole seems to lead to unknown parts of space. So originally I was actually just going to go ahead and have you go into the wormhole, figure out the name of the wormhole, and then go find out if it's a C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, or whatever. Ultimately, there are 3 classifications of wormhole. There's unknown, dangerous, and deadly. It's just like, so unknown is C1 through C3, dangerous is C4 and C5, and then deadly is C6. So we know this is either a C1 through a C3 wormhole. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back over here to this wormhole. I also recommend actually doing it on the wormhole site. For some reason, when you go save it here, it has a tendency to put you out like 10, 15K out. So just go ahead and save it here. We're going to save the location. What we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the signature ID. So BKF TAC 607. And then we're going to write what type it is. So unstable. I'm sorry, not unstable. Obviously, they're all unstable. Unknown. The size of the wormhole. So this one has larger ships can pass through it. So we're going to go ahead and put L. And then we're going to go ahead and put our date. So 1/15. And it's 2058. Now with this, we're going to go instead of using combat sites, we're going to go to unexplored wormholes and hit submit. And so now we've got that saved there. So now we see all these, like if I'm looking in my Odette here, all of our things. Now, let's go over to how do we get paid. First things first, let's go ahead and warp off here. Don't need to be sitting in front of a wormhole. I am in high sec, but still. All right, so how do we get paid? Well, first things first, enter opportunities. Just going to go ahead and show you the corporation opportunities. You see these Joe signatures right here. So with it, we're always going to have 5. Currently, we have 6 because Al is actually paying a little extra for Serpentis lookouts. That's a very specific combat site. But with it, we're always going to have these 5, one for each. They pay out one. We're paying 100,000 ISK per signature that you scan down, which doesn't sound like a lot, but after a while, it actually kind of adds up. So when you get done scanning down stuff, go ahead and click over your rewards, and you're going to see all these rewards here and stuff like that. So with it, I've been scanning a whole bunch of other stuff and doing other things. So I've got all these that I haven't claimed yet. So let's claim these really quick. Now, I'm going to give a caveat. This has been pointed to my attention. This is kind of a bug. Sometimes you're going to see something like this where it says 400,000 ISK for this combat site. If I click on it, I'm actually only getting paid out 300,000 ISK. That 300,000 ISK is the correct number that you should be getting paid out. The rewards thing has a tendency to over embellish these. There is no rhyme or reason with it, but these numbers aren't always the same. So if you click claim here and expecting to see 400k ISK, you're going to notice I only got paid 300k ISK there. That is not anything we're doing. We're not breaking it. We're not, stealing money from you or taxing it. I don't even think you can tax it. But what it is just a glitch with the game. Eventually, someday they'll fix it. But like, for instance, the data signatures here, notice I'm only getting paid 200k, yet for some reason it's telling me I'm getting paid 300k. I don't actually have an answer for that. But we'll go ahead and claim these, and that's pretty much how you get paid. And I mean, I made a good couple million off that. I mean, it's just like not that bad. I mean, specifically if I'm going out wormholing, which a lot of the people that are going to be using these do go out wormhole. We got ourselves a wormhole to go and investigate, and then on top of it, I'm getting paid out just to scan things down. Next, we're going to go over to do what we do when we're inside a wormhole. So that works a little bit differently, and I'll be going over that here shortly. Okay, so here we are inside a wormhole. Now I'm going to go over how we're saving wormhole signatures, because they do work a little bit differently. With that, I'm going to just go ahead and just say, it's like you might notice that the day is a little bit off. I had a very, very off weekend with wormholes last weekend when I was trying to record this video, resulting in a multiple 10U loss. So I kind of just needed to go and do it. So now I'm out here in a cheetah, which, if I do get blown up by some chance, at least it's not going to sting as much. Anyway, so we're in the wormhole. Very first thing, wormhole 101. We're gonna go ahead and save the exit location. So when you're saving the exit location, we're gonna go ahead and just we can just put wormhole exit, and then we're gonna label what it's an exit to. So for instance, this one's gonna be a high sec. This is a local one in ORSL. And so we're gonna go wormhole exit high sec into ORSL. Now, instead of going into our unexplored wormhole folder, we are now going to go ahead and do this. In fact, actually, I don't think I did that, so let me go do that quick here. One small little step here. Like I said, I'm doing this kind of out of order from when I was doing it. So it's just like we find our wormhole and we had saved it in unexplored wormholes. We are now going to drag this wormhole down into the wormhole daily folder. And it's just like right here, we're going to go to wormhole daily 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and edit this because you can see I had it from last time. We're going to edit this time to the time we started working on this wormhole. So it's going to be 1:21 and it's going to be 20:37. And then submit. This is for us so we can keep track of it because those of us that are going to be going through these things, we're going to look at these wormhole things. After about 2 days of this date, I'm going to go ahead and just delete everything out of there. Mainly just because after about 2 days, I guarantee you this wormhole is gone. But with that, so we have that main wormhole there. Now we're going to go ahead and just save it into wormhole daily, that subfolder, for 2 days, and save our exit. And if you notice my locations here, I have locations in this wormhole. Now I see that wormhole exit. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the other thing for wormhole 101 is we are going to make a save point. Just a nice little place to get the hell out of Dodge if we need to. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this guy right here. I'm going to warp to within 20. And then hit Control B. And then I'm going to watch my little guy go. And we're going to drop it right about there. Now this isn't a perfect save spot, but it is going to work. We're going to then go ahead here, edit this location. And we're just going to go ahead and type save. And make sure that it's in the wormhole, this proper folder, and it is. So go ahead and submit it. And then we can go ahead and just warp back over to that safe spot. Because now we're in a nice area where we're kind of away from anything. The only way people are going to be able to get to you is if they scan you down using combat scanner probes, of which I don't see any at the moment. Now we're go ahead. We got the two main things taken care of. We have our exit taken care of. We have our safe taken care of. Now we can go ahead and scan down these cosmic signatures. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I do that, and then I'll show you how we're going to go ahead and save those. Okay, so I've scanned down this wormhole now, and with it, it looks like this is just a big hub for other wormholes. But we do have a data site here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save this data site. So go ahead and save the location. Now, unlike outside of a wormhole in known space, with that we have our own subfolder for relic and data sites and gas sites and all that stuff like that. So it's all, already, you already know if you're looking in the relic and data site that it's a relic and data site. These unfortunately don't have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in parentheses data, just so when somebody's looking at this, they can tell it's a data site. And then of course we also put in our date. That we would normally. So 21/18. And then with that, we're going to make sure we're still in the wormhole 1 subfolder. And then hit submit. And this is like, so now we have that that site there hovering over it. And it's like now somebody knows, okay, hey, that's a data site. Let's go ahead and hit that. And then on top of it, it gives you the name of it. So we can go ahead and look up, see if there's rats in there or whatever. So that's how you do it. You do the same thing with relic sites. You do the same thing with gas sites. And if by some weird chance you happen to come across an actual combat anomaly, which don't really happen too much in wormholes as far as I've seen, but they can, so I can save it like that. So I'm not going to go and find a relic site and a gas site just to show you the difference. But bottom line is, just keyword, just use what it has. So it has the signature ID, the name of it, and then put in parentheses whether it's a data site, gas site, relic site, and then the date. And that's how you do that. So the other part about wormhole is wormholing is wormhole chains. of which basically we kind of want to go into like take one of these wormholes because there's not really much in here besides that unsecured perimeter. Um, so if we're looking for, let's say, gas sites or something like that, we're kind of SOL. So we're going to go ahead and go over to one of these wormholes, and I'll show you how we're going to go ahead and save these wormholes into the folder, and how we're going to go ahead and explore to go to multiple wormholes, because it can get kind of convoluted pretty quick doing that. So it's like if we just do it one specific way, it'll help us out dramatically. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pause this and get to on site. Okay, so I'm now on site with one of these first wormholes. First thing that I would always recommend doing, specifically in a wormhole, is jump to within about 20k, 30k of the wormhole. That way, in case there are people on the wormhole or encamped there, it's like, or if they're coming out, you're not getting jumped on. With that, you could probably even go actually 50k out, stuff like that. With this one has been pretty quiet. These are some scanner probes that have been here for a while, but I think those might have been mine. I had a glitch where I got disconnected, and my scanner probes are just kind of floating out there in space. But let's go ahead and show info just like we would in a known space, and just take a look at this wormhole. So it's just like with it, we know its beginning decay won't last another day, so it's anywhere between 3 hours and 12 hours until it goes away. Not yet there, and it's a medium. So this is a good one. We'll go ahead and save this. So go ahead and save location, and just like before, we're going to put the put the signature ID, and then we're going to. I'm sorry, I was an idiot. I don't remember what it said. And it's just like it's unknown. So that means it's a C1, C2, or C3. It's a medium. And it's just like 121, and then 21:21. And then make sure we're in the wormhole 1 folder, 2 days, go ahead and submit. Oh, now we got that saved. And then with it, we're just going to go ahead and go on to the next one. And again, like I said, remember, just keep warping out. Want to make sure we keep our range so we don't decloak or anything like that. Because assuming these might not be mine, they could be somebody else in the system. And so in wormholes, kind of cloak is key. And I'll do one more of these, and then I'll go ahead, pause, and label the rest of them. And then I'll show you what we do when we go into a wormhole that's in a wormhole. So this one's an EOL. So with that, we're going to go ahead and just, we'll go ahead and save it. And it's just like with that, what we're going to do is just in case, so anybody comes in here and sees it, they don't think it's a new anomaly. UGU 852 wormhole EOL, and we're just going to go put wormhole EOL. I really don't care about anything with this, because bottom line is we're probably not going to do anything with that wormhole, because within about 3 hours that wormhole is going to go away. So we'll just go ahead and save it like that, and we're just doing that just so we know what that anomaly is, or that signature is, because if somebody does come in here at a later date or at a later time, there might be new anomalies that spawn, so like new data relic sites and stuff like that, of which they might want to point down. So even though this is useless, we're still going to go ahead and mark it, and we're just not going to give it the time and date, because bottom line is you're not going to utilize it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the rest of these wormholes, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone and marked down all these other wormholes. One thing I am going to point out is when we first come into the wormhole, so we obviously make our exit in case we have to leave, correct? With that, we don't know what that signature is. I do now know that it's TVJ781, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this location, and I'm going to put that signature in there as well, just again. This way, anybody coming into the wormhole, we don't need to scan this down because we already know what it is and where it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put that signature in there and just update it. And so now we have that signature as well. And let's do that properly here. Get rid of that space in there. And all right, so we're going to go ahead and go to one of these that was pretty good. We had a dangerous one in here. I kind of don't want to play around with that one. It's just like, let's go warp over here. And we're going to go ahead and warp in.
Warp drive active.
And I'm going to go ahead and warp on site with that I haven't seen any indications of life here. But we're going to go ahead and warp in on it and then just go through really quick. I do recommend that is not a safe tactic. Alright, so here we are in another wormhole, and this is a wormhole chain, so we are going to go ahead and hit this. We're going to save location, and we're going to do the same thing we just did, wormhole exit. The only difference is we're going to put wormhole 1 as the as where it's going. With that, how we're dealing with that is, well, actually, give me 1 second here. Let me go make a save point here quick, or a safe spot, and then we'll talk about it. Let's go there. Warp to within 100.
Warp drive active.
It's kind of a bad spot. So we'll do that again. Here, give me 1 second. I'm going to make a safe spot, and then we'll come back. All right. So with that, now that I'm out of harm's way and I can focus on talking a little bit more. So when we go into a wormhole chain and we're chaining, sometimes you can go into a wormhole within a wormhole within a wormhole. And we're going to all save all these in the same spot. So if I were to go and pull up our wormhole thing here and look into it, you're going to see all these things. You're going to see a lot of these things that are just not going to make sense. Like a wormhole exit, wormhole 1. Looking at all this, it's just going to be a big cluster mess, specifically when you're dealing with multiple wormholes and all that stuff like that. So ultimately, what we do is we're using the locations. And as I told you in the previous video, go up here to this location. This is going to be locations in whatever system you're in. I always open that and show a window here. It's going to show me only the relevant waypoints in the system that I'm in. So because we're in a different wormhole, it's not showing me the exit to Orcell or that relic site that we found or anything like that. It's only showing me what's in this wormhole. So to keep things straight and to give yourself a bread trail from your main wormhole that you're in, the first wormhole that you come in, that is considered wormhole 1. And then it's just like, and then if you go into another wormhole, that's wormhole 2. And it doesn't matter what other wormhole you go into. There was that one of the other wormholes in there. If I went into that wormhole, I would still label my exit as wormhole 1. Because ultimately, let's say we're 3 wormholes deep into this chain. I now have this breadcrumb trail. So I'm in wormhole 3, and I see my exit saying wormhole 2. I know I go there to get to that wormhole 2. Then I see the exit that goes to wormhole 1, and I know that's where I need to go. And then that goes there, and I see my wormhole exit to HiSec. And that's how I get out of the wormholes. So with that, it doesn't matter what wormhole you're in. So like I said, if we were to leave this wormhole, go back to wormhole 1, and then go into a completely different wormhole, I would still label my exit as wormhole exit 1, because this is, this is where we're going. It's like this is our location. It's just like ultimately the wormhole 2, like this wormhole, and then the other wormhole that we would have gotten from wormhole 1 would not, they will never cross each other. I mean, I guess maybe they could possibly, but that's, I've never seen that. So with that, they shouldn't be interfering with each other. So you should never really even notice that. Only unless you look at the actual overall save, of which, like I said, it's just like, this is just a way of organizing all of our stuff. It's not meant for anything like that. Same thing, when you go ahead and scan these down, if you get yourself gas sites and relic sites, literally, you don't need to put wormhole 2 or anything like that. You can just put gas site and relic site, as long as you label them like we did here with this data one. It's perfectly just fine. It's like ultimately, if anybody wants to be too smart in looking at this, I could tell that this data site is in wormhole J140722. This wormhole that I'm in is J145225. So I can tell what different ones they are. Same with our main pilot wormhole coming from HiSec. I could tell that's in Orcell. But ultimately, that's how we save these wormholes. I'm not going to go ahead and scan down this wormhole. But that's how we save this stuff. This is how we expect it to be done. And going from pretty much here on forward, we are going to be scanning or looking at these folders and policing them. And if we do find things out of the place, we will just delete them. We're not going to ask. We're not going to say, "Hey, is somebody using it?" We're just going to delete it. As for like these wormhole folders here, it's like currently I've got 4 of them made. But if it turns out we ever need more, I'll just make more. But again, like I said, it's like in about 2 days. So on the 23rd, I'm going to go ahead and delete everything out of this folder because I guarantee you that your primary wormhole, this wormhole right here, is gone. In fact, actually, being 2 days is actually being really zealous. Probably actually within a day, I'll go and check that. It really depends on that. But that is all she wrote with it. I hope you enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoy this content, and I hope this helps you guys out. And then this is also, like I said, a great way of making some passive income if you're bored and just want to go and scan things down for people. Because I do know a lot of our wormhole guys do it. Also, feel free to talk to me, pen number 6879. I will point you to our wormhole coordinator. He is one of our guys that's really hardcore into wormholes, and it's just like with that, he can help you out and give you fits and anything like that. With that, we usually have fits in our in contracts and stuff like that for it. Like for instance, this cheetah is available for purchase. It's just like from the corp. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.